Okay, everyone, it's that time again. This time it's Rubens we're going to do, and this will be a fun project, a little shorter than the last two. So let's just look at our Rubens stuff here. Here he is, Peter Paul Rubens, Baroque painter, and I just realized when I was looking at this outline that I printed out that you'll see that I'm not the originator of this outline, since it says that he was born 435 years ago, which is not correct. That's if this were 2012. So now it's 440 years ago. I think that's interesting for the kids. I will try to edit that on the ones I printed out. For the kids to hear how long ago this was. This is a long time ago. We've done some more recent artists this year so far. So we have one who is post-Renaissance, but very much studying the Renaissance artists. And I have most of our kids studied Michelangelo last year, and might see some similar things. Rubens, well, of course, an interesting fellow, might not be as interesting for our particular audience, but maybe just for censorship reasons. So we say he was born in 1577. He was from Antwerp, Belgium. What you might not tell them is that his dad got into trouble for fathering a child with some noblewoman, and their family had to flee to Germany. But I mean, he was from a good family. He worked in the royal court, and he later would become a diplomat. And he worked with the many kings and queens and was commissioned artwork by them. So he lived a good life. And he went to Italy and studied the Renaissance artists. But he is known for being maybe the epitome of Baroque artwork. And so this is a term that perhaps you can, I mean, you don't have to go into depth, but maybe talk about that with the kids, what Baroque is. And the book that I held up at the beginning, I have one copy of that book, and I'm going to keep it on the art cart. It has some pictures that you might want to show them in addition to the slideshow. And it has a page that talks a little bit about Baroque. And the word Baroque means irregular pearl. So showing that the paintings are highly ornate and I guess the pearl part is that they are very curvy. Does that make sense? Where they show a lot of spiral movement. You can see that in this St. George fighting the dragon. And there's a good example of one of his paintings in this book that I held up at the beginning. So your eye kind of follows like these more curvy lines. And the Baroque artwork is very intricate, detailed, just like the churches were being built at that time, just very ornate, and very light, and intense emotion. You can see that in these paintings too. They're just really intense looking. So talk to them a little bit about that. What they see there. I mean, the intensity is definitely something that will catch their eye. I like how I have this quote just from Wikipedia that says that Baroque artwork had a kind of artistic sensationalism, and I think you can see that. And I mean, we could only include so many paintings in this slideshow. I mean, he's typical of his time. There's a lot of naked ladies, which are also very curvy. And And yeah, just some of them are kind of sensational. So yeah, we can talk about the detail, the bright colors, the movement, and just that he painted a lot of people, kings and queens and royalty, whatnot, and stories from the Bible or mythology were usually popular subjects during this time period. So here's some historical things that he painted. And again, the bright colors. I mean, the people are in movement a lot. He also did some landscapes. You can see a lot of light there. And then here's some examples of his portraits that he did of royalty, because that's back then the artists were paid by wealthy patrons who, of course, wanted paintings of themselves. I like this quote. He became known as the Prince of Painters and the Painter of Princes. So, and he was also known for painting his own family. He had not two wives at the same time, but his first wife died and he remarried. But these are two very famous paintings of him with his first wife and his second wife. And he would paint lots of pictures of his children. And so that's what he liked to paint, I think. He would do lots of commissions from his wealthy patrons, and he became so famous and sought after that he opened a workshop, just like so many of these successful artists, where he would tutor the rising generation. An interesting thing, in a lot of the paintings, they would collaborate. So there would be someone who was really good at drawing animals or fruit or whatever. And so they would do that part, and then Rubens or someone else would do another part. So he was kind of the overseer of many paintings that were collaborative. So here's two more examples of Rubens' portraits. I think it's kind of fun to do one that's realistic like this after we've had different styles of artists. We've got the classical here. And this is what we're going to be doing with our kids, is doing a sketch of a face, which will be kind of challenging for some, and that's fine. It doesn't have to look. We're going to try to sketch like a partner's face. It doesn't have to look like just like their face, but it'll be a fun experiment, and we're going to get to use some pastels, which is fun. I feel like that was so brief. What am I missing? I don't know. I think that's good. And if you feel like you want to go into more detail, let me X this out here. Go ahead and pick out this book. I think it might be easier to use in the classroom, and I think this is a project that you could use the art cart pretty easily with. And you can show them some more paintings, like of his family are in here. And just some other examples of just like the movement and storytelling in these Baroque paintings. So I think it's always just fun to show them paintings and see all the fun things they have to say about it, their reactions to it. Here's some good. I mean, Rubens had his like favorite way of drawing women. This was like his ideal right here. You don't have to show this, but this is a lot of what's in there, which is why my slide shows kind of brief. So this is what we're going to do. Here's a finished one. And this is easy. You're going to have a tan piece of paper. You're going to have boxes of flesh-colored, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, don't fall out. Charcoals. I'm also going to throw in, we have some colored ones too, so if they want to do the eyes, blue or green or something like that. But we're mostly just using flesh-colored charcoals. I'll have some Q-tips and tissues in there for smudging the charcoal and blending. Okay, So you give them their tan piece of paper, have their charcoals, you're going to pair them up, and they're going to try to draw each other. So, and you're going to give them, each partner can have one of these. It just kind of shows, like, basically draw an oval. This is how you divide the face so that it looks more realistic of what the proportions of an actual face. So they're going to sketch lightly in white, their white charcoal, an outline. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but we have this handy dandy poster. Oh, don't fall off. So sketch in white, then they're going to use the black to do more detail, and then fill in with whatever skin tone, hair, colors they want and can do some. And just talk about, like, you know, the light, like in the eye, you can use some white to show where the lighter parts of the face, and use the darker colors for the shadows. You know, younger kids, you don't have to get too complex. Older kids can do more shading and shadows. We have some more that shows kind of how you're going to divide up the face, just basic. And that bigger poster shows the steps. So that it will take a little longer in that they're doing it one at a time, like one person from the pair and then the other person will have to pose. They can probably do the basic outline and then fill in the details kind of at the same time, you know, so that one person doesn't have to sit there forever waiting for their turn to draw. But pretty straightforward, but I think it's going to be fun because, you know, we don't do a lot of drawing of people because it's challenging. And it's moving beyond just like the, you know, very basic representation of people that kids usually do in their drawings. If they finish early, we have some coloring pages of Rubens, some of his famous paintings that they can color. It's nice to have a backup, huh, for those kids that finish super early. I feel like that was too short, but maybe you just like that because you don't have to watch this for a long time. So we have those examples. The big poster will be in the art room, but we'll have examples on the art card. I'll have these ones on the art card. So everyone will have enough. And if no one's using the art card, you can grab the other examples as well. And yeah, just have fun with it. Not very many supplies, not too complicated. You should be able to mount them right away. And yeah, so let me know if you have any questions. You guys are doing awesome. And thank you so much, John, for finding the pencil sharpener. Okay, thanks, guys.